Hello folks, I'm Sakura Zero, Profile Production, and next part is Sakura Forest Girls 2. Let's see. Yeah. So we came to the river and we see this standing before us. So let's continue from where we left off last time. A woman stands in the river up to her knees in the water. Her skin is uncomfortably pale, and her pink hair falls about her shoulder in waves. She is wearing an intricately patterned dress made from a lush bright red fabric. Golden trousers beads adorn the hem, and her dress and hood is straight over her head. The woman's fingers pinch the train of her dress to stop it traveling into the water. I don't know much about clothes, but her outfit looks expensive. It's not the sort of dress you would think to wear to take a dip in the river. Could she be royalty? Maybe she the princess we've been searching for. Well met, madame. Maya is the first to recover from her shock. She greets the woman with a cordial smile. Where might I ask you hail from? Not so far away as you do, I wager. The woman replies to Maya's query with a faint smile, her grey eyes half-lidded. I've not seen you three around here before. I take it you are travelers. That is correct, yes. Are you a native of these parts? Perhaps, but then again, perhaps not. The woman giggles. You will find out in due course, should our paths cross again, which I imagine they will. All meetings in this world happen for a reason. Well, usually when we see someone that actually has a sprite, we usually see them again. And if someone put this much attempt into a sprite, they're definitely going to be used again. Well, even though it isn't a sprite yet, but it is a picture, and, well, the woman laughs. Her laugh is exceedingly similar to Maya's, and like Maya's, it sends a shiver down my spine. I don't know why, but this woman's half-lidded gaze is making me feel uncomfortable. It's a warm day, but my skin is starting to prickle. Maya, too, looks uncommonly tense. She grits her teeth together, her eyes narrowed. You're not an ordinary person, are you? My, how straightforward of you. The woman titters. Is that any way to speak to a stranger? I am somewhat offended. I may possess powers others do not, but I am still an ordinary human. There is nothing abnormal about me. My abilities could not possibly compare to yours. I am not a monster, you see. What was that? Oh, nothing. Well, considering we are a Jana in this story, I would definitely tighten my grip on my spear by now. The woman smiles and steps out of the river. Her feet are bare and droplets of water glisten between her toes. I shall take my leave now, travelers. Have a safe journey. I know this will not be our last encounter. The woman laughs, then departs. I watch as she leads, still barefoot, the hem of her luxurious dress shifting with each step. Soon the surrounding trees swallow her and she disappears. She's gone, taking the tense atmosphere with her. Huh. My shoulder slumps, relieved. I let out a breath of air and I didn't realize I was holding. I have no idea who that woman is, or where she has come from, or what she called, but something about her screams trouble. For a while there, I was seriously afraid that she and Maya would come to blows. I'm glad I was able to avoid a fight, but who was that anyway? I wonder. Maya ponders, one hand beneath her chin. She is no ordinary woman, no matter what she said. The money hanging around her was too dense for that. This is a most curious development. But never mind that. We still need to bathe ourselves, so we might be presentable to Princess Airy. Now, Yaja, do you need any help taking off your clothes? I'll be fine, thanks. I shoved Maya down stiffly, my arms folded. I've been dressing and undressing myself since I was 5 years old. I can handle it. Boo, that's so boring. Life can't always be exciting. Get used to it. Honestly, Maya is such a pain. I can scarcely believe I have grown as fond of her as I have. It's funny how things work out. Oh, well, isn't this quaint? I giggles as she glances about our surroundings. It took us a while to get here after a dip in the river, but now we finally reached our destination. We are at Princess Airy's village, where, according to the spirits Maya consulted, Coco is. They were greeted at the village gates by a couple of guards, though greeted might not perhaps be the right word. They were suspicious of us at first and demanded we state our business. Maya, being the leader of this little operation, spoke up on behalf of Ayana and I. She explained that we were travelers and we needed somewhere to lay our weary heads. Maya spun quite a convincing sob story, but the guards remained skeptical. Apparently this village and those near it has been blighted by a drought of the last few months, and could see signs of this myself during our walk here. The forest about the lake was green and verdant, but it began to thin out the closer we got to our destination. The grass on the foot browning, the trees withering. No rain has fallen upon this village for quite some time. The people must be hungry. It's a little wonder the guards were so disinclined to let us within the village walls. But Maya continued to wheedle and whine until the guards had no choice but to stand aside and let us enter. Please do not turn us away. We are very travelers and we have nowhere left to turn. We are precisely low on food and we are consigned to spend the night outdoors. We may die. Yeah. Find it in your hearts to allow us entry, if only for a night or two. That's what Maya said. She got so into the fabric and melodrama, tears began to bead in her eyes. Yeah, when I read things like that, that's actually what happens to me also. It sounded so convincing, even I felt inclined to believe her. Well, not just a talented witch, she is also an incredible actress. The guards eventually bought Maya's tall tale and they let us into the village. I'm relieved that we were let inside. Our plans would be ruined if we faced opposition so early on. A quick cursory scan shows that the village isn't all that dissimilar from the one Ayana and I grew up in. It's quite small, with only a handful of tents scattered about. I can't guess at the population, but I wager a few hundred people live here, and close to among the village wooden walls. Judging by all the tents, there could be about 300, maybe 400 people in this settlement. Beyond the tents, as I can see farmland, which also enclosed by the village wooden walls. The fields look dry and barren, the earth cracked with the intense sun. I can't imagine many crops growing here. A few cows and pigs can be seen in pens by the fields, but they look skinny and emaciated. The village must be suffering a good deal, but you wouldn't think that to look at its villagers. They continued about their daily lives complaining, and a few even nod at us in acknowledgement as they pass us by. The villager seems friendly, a friendly one. One on the whole. Okay. I'm glad Coco wound up at a place like this. If indeed she is here, she fit right at home among these smiling people. Do you think we find Coco here? We should. My rituals have never led me wrong before. And let's start looking around. I stretched my arms above my head, invigorating my newfound enthusiasm. Why don't we split up? I question the people working in the fields, Ayana and Maya. You should question the people still in their tents. If we divide up the work, we should be able to ferret out before sundown. I set off, my shoulders squared. Not so fast, hold your horses. But I am soon intercepted by Maya. She glanced at one hand upon my shoulder with no small amount of force, her pointed nails digging into my bare skin and I winced. What's the big idea? We might be arrived at this village, but we still haven't found Coco. We can't afford to sit on our laurels hoping our paths cross. We need to take the decisive action. I understand that. You wish to see your friend again. Yeah, truly. Your devotion is astounding, but there is such a thing as being too excessive. What are you talking about? Pascal. It's been 3 years since I last saw Coco. I don't want to sit and wait another second longer. You have no idea how much I missed her. Perhaps not, but I am aware of how much Coco means to you. That is why I'm asking you to stand down. This villager guards may have permitted us entry into their home, but the acceptance was grudging at best. We would make a poor impression if upon arriving here we began to interrogate the villagers. That would only make us seem suspicious. If we were too tactless, we may risk being ejected from this village by force. Then we will have no chance to search for your precious Coco. Huh? Would that really happen? Do you want to find out? I guess not. No. I had to admit it, but you might have a point. The villagers would all turn against us if we barged into their tents unannounced. We are strangers after all. You can't be too forceful. Good. I'm glad you have come to the same conclusion as I. Though I took a bit of prompting. So what are you planning? How will we find Coco without turning the villagers against us? It's quite simple. Rather than ask random villagers internally, we need to only speak to the person in charge of this whole village. The person in charge? My brother Pharaohs. You don't mean the princess, do you? Ding ding, we have a winner. I grins, then gives my ponytail another playful tug. Ow. At least I think she meant to be playful, but it hurts quite a bit. Was that on purpose? It's hard to tell with Maya. Our first order of business now we have arrived at this village should be to seek a private audience with the princess. We should know every single person who resides within this village walls. If anybody can tell us where Coco still dwells here, it would be her. And if Coco isn't here, what happens then? Then the princess should know where she has gone. In either case, we will learn of Coco's whereabouts in far less time than it would take us to scour every inch of this village. I guess you got a point. But I think I can see a flaw with your plan. I frown. You take it for granted that we will get an audience with the princess, but isn't that presumptuous? I mean, she is a princess. Why would she talk to commoners like us? We're total strangers. There's no way she'd be willing to hear us out, right? If we wish to speak to somebody as exalted as she, shouldn't we build our reputation in the community first? Perhaps we ought to help the farmers till their fields or take on quests. If we were ordinary people, I suppose that was what we would have to do, yes. Maya smiles coyly. But I'm Maya, the fabled witch. And I'm not ordinary. I've no need to engage in pointless busy work like a common serf. I know what I'm doing, so please don't worry. We can't go wrong when you're with me. And yet, despite Maya's reassurances, hold it right there, strangers. Don't come another step closer. I've not seen you around our village before. Your presence here is awfully suspicious. Who are you and what do you want? Say your piece, else we'll cut you down where you stand. My. Maya touches one hand pressed to her mouth. As far as welcome goes, it leaves much to be desired. You're even ruder than the guards stationed outside the village. At least they did not look at us with such scorn. Somebody ought to teach you a few manners. Maya, Jan, and I are standing outside a large tent in the center of the village. It seems likely that this tent belongs to the leader of the village. It's certainly ostentatious enough. There were two women are stationed outside the entrance of the tent. They both have dark skin, doubled with white paint and dark hair. They clutch spears in their hands, which they point at us. These women wear identical expression of disdain upon their faces. But the similarities between them don't end there. Their faces too are identical, from the color of their eyes to the curve of their noses. I think they must be sisters, twins even. I've heard it said that twins are omens of good fortune, but this set of twins, if they are twins, is giving me ample cause to doubt that. They're looking at us like we're less than dirt. How dare you lecture us on how to behave? One of the twins glows at Maya while brandishing her spear. You're outsiders. You ought to show us more respect. Outsiders we may be, but we mean no harm. We have traveled far, and we are weary. Surely you wouldn't not discriminate against a small group of beautiful women such as us. Now, please, stand aside. We seek an audience with your princess. Ha! One of the twins snorts. As we step aside and let you waltz right into her highness. She is much too important to be bothered by the likes of you. My sister's right. Now shoo. The twin guard shakes the spears menacingly in my direction. The point tips of the spears glint in the sunlight, promising pain. And eyes them anxiously, her brow furrowed. Perhaps we should go. I don't wish to antagonize the villagers. I suppose we could do that, yes, if it would make you more comfortable. But I thought you were determined to locate your missing friend, regardless of the dangers you might face. I was mistaken on that score. No, you're not mistaken. I do want to find Coco very much so, but I don't want to upset these villagers either. Oh, Ayana, sweet innocent Ayana. Maya pats the top of Ayana's head. You're a good girl, but there is such a thing as being too considerate. If you always tiptoe around other people's feelings, you'll never be able to get results. You want to find Coco. The princess should know where she is. Ergo, we must speak to her. We cannot let these guards stop us, nor their little toys. The toys. One of the twin guards glowers at Maya, her expression mixture of shock and irritation. We assure you, stranger, that our spears are not mere toys. They are sharp and deadly, and we are very skilled in using them. We can cut you down without breaking a sweat. Just try to cross us and see where that gets you. We have no qualms in striking down our enemies. In Mala, we'll be conducting your funeral service before sundown. So you meant to kill us? We will take no pleasure in it. We do not like shedding blood needlessly, but we may be forced to if you do not stand down. Goodness me, what a pain this is. You girls are very loyal to your princess, aren't you? Of course we are. We love Lady Harry. She's a good, kind ruler. She listens to the plights of her people. She would be willing to go without food for our sake, so we do not starve. She is an asset to our village. Everybody adores her. We do not like violence, but we would be more than happy to spill blood on her behalf. How remarkable. Your loyalty is so pure and unsullied. It is enough to bring a tear to my eye. Maya smiles wickedly. But unfortunately for you, this is a fight you cannot win. I'm no ordinary woman, you see, but a witch. I have lived for many years, and I possess vast powers little girls like you could not dream of. Your weapons, I fear, will be completely ineffectively against me. You should stand down while you still can. I do not wish to harm you. Only I want to speak to your princess. It's about an exceedingly important matter. Huh. One of the twins snorts. Do you think we stand aside after hearing speech like that? That only makes you sound more suspicious. Your threat level has gone up. We must neutralize you immediately. We can't let anybody bother our princess. Oh dear. My sights. I hoped they wouldn't come to this, but you leave me no choice. If we are to get anywhere, I will have to prove my powers to you. That should douse your tempers nicely. Just try it. You can't hurt us. We are strong together. You stand no chance. Take this. The guards dash forward, spears in hand, no doubt meaning to deal Maya a series of decisive blows, but these blows never come. The guards pause in their planted assaults, stuck still as though frozen. With a single snap of her fingers, a sudden powerful gust of wind fills the village. It shakes the leaves from the trees, toys with the tip of my ponytail. What's going on? Eek. And he flips the skirts of both guards, revealing their underwear. One of the sisters looks at her exposed thighs in wonderment, while the other drops her spear. The sister faces a bright red and tears beginning to bead in her eyes. My panties. You can see them. You can see everything. Nobody will want to marry me like this. You, the poor sister who I take to be the older of the two lovers, admire her teeth gritted. Are you doing this? Oh yes, very good. What talkative prowess you possess. I see you're not as dumb as you look. What was that? Oh, nothing. I only meant to compliment your advanced reasoning skills, which are beyond all of my expectation. As you can see, I can use mana to control the elements. I have studied the arcane arts for years, and such trifles comes easily to me. I can make rain fall from the sky if given enough time, and I can conjure pillars of fire from the ground. This is but a taste of my powers. Now, do you see how outmatched you are? Won't you set aside your weapons? I might be a witch, but I'm not wicked. I do not want to do anything too nasty. If I put my weapons down, will you call off this unnatural breeze? You have my word. The guard looks unconvinced, but the desperate wails emitting from her twin make her reconsider. This is too much. I'm sorry for disappointing you, mother. You can... How can I even walk around the village again? I'm ruined. Alright, fine, you win. I promise I won't hurt you, not if you call off the demonic wind. That's a good start, but would you also allow me and my party to entrance to your princess tent? We have important matters to discuss. I promise you that we will not harm her. My powers are such that I could have rained description upon your village thrice over already, but I have abstained. Surely you can trust me. I trust you about as much as I can trust a hungry wolf. But I don't want to see my sister cry. I'm the older of our siblings. Ha, I knew it. And I promised Mother I would protect her. I can't stop this wind on my own, so... Because he's aside? Very well, we'll step aside. Good, I'm glad we could come to a peaceful arrangement. Maya clicks her fingers and then wind subsides. The guards' skirts settle down once more, covering their panties. The younger twin sister still looks abashed by these goings on, but at least she stopped crying. Her eyes look awfully watery though. It was a pleasure doing business with you ladies. Now let us not double. Princess awaits. Let us see if she knows anything about Coco. Whoa, you look at that. The interior of the princess tent is like nothing I've seen before. The floors are covered with rich woven rugs and fabric drapes from the ceiling in folds. Expensive looking furniture is dotted about, hewn from wood with candles and ceramics placed atop them. In the center of the large spacious tent is a divan, liberal strewn with plush cushions. Even the air smells sweet, soft, and fragrant like flowers. This is a world apart from the tent I grew up in, with its leaky ceiling and its bare earthen floor. This place is truly worthy of a princess. Which is fitting, I guess, given the princess does indeed inhabit this luxurious space. She also has, that girl has also pink hair. I wonder if this is the same. Well, that's this picture, so that was all I had for Sakura Forest Girls 2 this time, and say language grab. See you next time. Bye.